those who take steps, and those who make the great leap forward.
Those who stay as they are, and those that become more than they ever thought possible.
They discover, explore, compete,
and are fearless. There are those satisfied by common pursuits, and those for whom the extraordinary will never be enough.
So ask yourself, will you step? Or will you leap?
And I am Blair Herter, also known as the real world's Blair Herter. It's day 2 of our wall-to-wall E3 coverage, and joining us today, the effervescent, the beautiful, the far more talented than us, Tiffany Smith and I, Justine, are here.
High five.
They're here today.
Hey,
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. So now Tiffany and I will be hitting the show floor to take you all over E3 and inside some of the Expo's biggest games. Yep, but right now, we're coming to you live from the heart of the LA Convention Center to bring you more games, more exclusives, and a whole heck of a lot more of Lara Croft.
Lara.
Yeah.
And don't forget, over the course of today's show, we want to hear from you watching at home.
Yes, you guys did an amazing job yesterday of communicating all of your wants and desires to us via technology. So keep that up. Tweet us using the hashtag XboxE3 and let us know what questions you want us to ask today's guests, especially during a little conversation we're going to have about Halo 5 Warzone later on in the show.
Yeah, but first, can we take a minute to talk about yesterday's big announcements? Because you guys, I am so excited for the new LEGO Dimensions game. All I have to say, Gandalf on a hoverboard, yeah.
It's a thing that we never knew we wanted. Now we don't know how we could ever live without it.
I can't live without
One of those
it.
things.
That's the way E3 is. For me, it's still about Halo 5, the Xbox One. Did you know this? I counted them. 7 exclusives coming out this holiday alone, including Halo 5 Guardians.
Pretty amazing.
big year.
Biggest year of games.
7!
They're like, paychecks, no!
Okay, but can we please talk about HoloLens? Because I about lost my mind when you guys did the presentation and the Minecraft world just lifted from the table. It was impressive. I mean, it is a game. Insanity.
Yeah, 1,000% the coolest thing I saw yesterday. The thing, though, in terms of software that I'm really excited about, lots of cool stuff at the briefing, Gears 4. A couple things to talk about Gears 4. One, Rod being up on stage, talking about Gears again, just felt so right. And secondly, the first true experience for Gears on the Xbox One this generation. Amazing.
Tiffany, here's your buddy. Look, right
And
here on the monitor.
I'm like, all those tongues, so terrifying. I'm like, please don't die, JJ, in the trailer. Please don't die. But first, it's your turn. We want you guys to weigh in on today's show. So grab your Xbox One controller and vote for the game trailers you most want to see. And guess what? We'll bring them right to you guys throughout the show. Or just let us surprise you.
Look, bottom line, yesterday was great, but today even gets better because we're bringing you an in-depth look at Rise of the Tomb Raider and the gorgeous, the fast, Forza 6.
Just revved my engine.
I'll never unhear that sound, Larry. I'll never unhear that. Plus, we're going to explore the insane open-world action game Just Cause 3, the parkour madness of Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and the return of fan favorite and Blair favorite Deus Ex.
Then, if you've been yearning for a closer look at the just announced titles, including Ion, Toy Soldiers War Chest, and Plants vs. Zombies, well, we've got you covered.
Do not move. Later, we're gonna have a Halo 5 Q&A with 343 Industries, and we'll be taking your questions, all that and much, much more. We have a huge show today.
It's a monster show. But right now, the show floor is finally open. Gamers have flooded into E3 this year legally for the first time. You're here. By the way, that gentleman right there is powerful. He exudes a thing.
Woo! That's how we all feel.
You guys, Phil Spencer is so drunk right now. And if you guys can't get inside, though, don't worry about it. We have got you covered. Let's send things over to Graham Boyd right now, over in the Xbox booth inside the show floor.
Thanks, everybody. I am here with a beautiful Ford GT, but more importantly, I'm here with Dan Greenawalt, the creative director of Turn 10 Studios. Now, Dan, Forza Motorsport 6, 450 Forza Vista cars, 26 real-world locations, 24-player multiplayer, rain, night. Is this the biggest Forza you've ever made?
This is the biggest Forza we've ever made, but it's more than the numbers. It's the experiences we can deliver with the numbers. I think our fans are just going to light up when they play the game.
So tell me about some of the tech in this game, because it looks absolutely incredible.
Well, you know, it's a real boon to us to have Forza Motorsport 5 on the Xbox One. It meant our Forza Tech engine was running natively. It worked great, 1080p, 60 frames per second, and we could concentrate on just adding great features and great content, like night, like wet, and again, the 24-player multiplayer is fantastic.
So let's talk about rain first of all. You know, weather and rain and wet has been something that the Forza community has been asking for ages. How exciting are you to put that into the game?
Well, you know, when we bring features to Forza, there's kind of a Forza way. There's a level of quality and a level of research we want to do every time. We live in the Northwest, so we know what rain's like. And part of rain is not just limited friction, but it's also puddles. And for the first time in games, we've got these hydroplaning, simulated aquaplaning. And if you're driving really fast on a puddle, your car's going to spin out. So it brings the thrill and the danger and the intensity to racing. And when that's added with 24-player multiplayer or 24 cars on track with Drivatar, it's just a really thrilling race.
And night racing looks ridiculous as well. I got the chance to try it out last night. It's beautiful. What kind of work went into bringing that to Forza 6?
You know, a big part of Next Generation is physically based materials, and that helped us with wet, but also with night. And also, having a nighttime scene that's got the thrill and danger of motorsport. In a lot of games, you'll see night that looks like a dark day. In motorsport, we want it to be pitch black, and you're driving just at the limits of your headlights, 250 miles per hour down the Mulsanne Straight. Get that tension, you know? And the physically based materials bring everything to light. So you see the shining, and then it goes dark, and all the cars, it looks beautiful.
It does indeed look beautiful, and we've got some great new ways to drive Forza 6 as well. Some really cool new accessories. Yeah, can you take us through them?
You know, Forza's got a really diverse player base. People like to play lots of ways. You know, my kids, they like to play in split screen, which is great for them. I've been playing with the Elite controller now for quite a while in all of my games, because it's been around, and it's wonderful. I mean, the fidelity in the controller is great. It's great with Forza as well, because if you like to do shifting and mana, you can actually put those to the paddles underneath and really get that sim experience. But of course, our really simmy guys love the wheels. And we've got two featured here at the booth in our simulators. One is from Fanatec, and the other is from Logitech. And those come onto the Xbox One, adding to the overall force feedback wheels. Now, first off, I'd say the Fanatec is one that's been catching a lot of people's eyes. Beautiful materials. It's a really variable wheel. You can actually just buy the base, and it will work with your existing CSR wheel from the Xbox 360, or you can get the whole kit and caboodle, and it's an amazing wheel. It is a little bit on the premium side. And then there's Logitech, which fans have been asking for Logitech wheels on Forza and on the Xbox for a long time, and now a tremendous wheel is showing up. Great technology, dual motor, helical cogs. It's a magnetically based. I love this stuff, sorry. I like to rip these wheels apart. It's got great fidelity, it's got really good build quality, it's a tremendous wheel. And so now, you know, if you're looking for a good controller, a great controller, an amazing wheel, all of these options are here in Forza Motorsport 6.
All right, great stuff. Let's talk about the tracks as well. 26 real-world locations in the game. Give us some of your picks of your top tracks.
Well, first off, having 26 means we can build a 70-plus hour career that takes you on a tour. Amazing cars, amazing tracks, moments in motorsport. But some of the ones we're showing here are Brands Hatch from the UK in the wet, and it's a downpour. The puddles are huge. It's a cool experience, and players, I think, are going to really love that. We're also showing some tracks here that have been in the game before, like Sebring, but now it's being done at night. Now, we've also announced Watkins Glen. We've got Daytona, the new Indy infield, and of course, Rio de Janeiro. Beautiful, beautiful track that people have been playing in the Ford GT here.
I've got to give Rio a shout out. I tried that for myself last night, and it looks beautiful, and it's a really fun track to drive as well, so that's good. One of the other things I'm really excited about, 24-player multiplayer over Xbox Live. You know, that really takes the live game to the next level, doesn't it?
And you know, people are almost being drowned by these big numbers, so I do want to explain, you know, what's cool about it. And Forza Motorsport 5, 16-player multiplayer on dedicated servers. Now we have 24-player multiplayer, and we've got a new leagues mode, which puts people of similar skill level and temperament in the same league together and kind of collapses the time frame so they can have competitive esport-like racing in our game. I think it's going to be great for our community, and it means the 24-player cars, it's more players like you, similar speed, and they're not going to be griefers if you're not a griefer, and if you want to smash things up, you'll be in races with them.
All right, Dan, congratulations. Another great showing for Forza Motorsport. I'm ready for my test drive now, so let's hand it back to the stage.
Yes, thank you, Graham. Welcome back to the main stage. Mercedes Cinnamon, just trying to pay our way through college, no big deal.
Which one am I?
In just a minute, you're Mercedes.
Yeah.
You're more flexible, you're more versatile. In just a minute, Tiffany Smith will be bringing you a closer look at the highly anticipated, God, people were so excited when they saw this yesterday at the briefing, Rise of Tomb Raider.
But first, earlier in the show, we asked you to vote on which trailer you wanted to see, and boy, did you tell us.
Yes.
Now it's time to watch Democracy in Action when we roll the People's Choice.
I love it. I love them.
Aren't they great?
Guys at home, we asked you to surprise us. The interactivity, you surprised us with one hell of a game trailer. So keep sending in amazing votes like that. We will keep playing them for you. And if you have a problem with what we play, it's definitely Tiffany's fault. Okay, let's get back to the show. Like most of you guys, I've always dreamed of He-Man fighting G.I. Joe. And now I can make my very odd and very specific dreams a reality with Toy Soldier's War Chest.
But it was my dream. Are you in my head?
Let's touch heads and see what happens.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, we're joined by War Chest producer Josh Mash. We have not touched heads yet. You give us an exclusive look, and we have a first look at a new game feature, right, Josh? First of all, welcome to the stage.
Thank you. Yeah.
What'd you bring with you?
So we're showing off some new content. We're showing you guys He-Man today. First time we're looking at He-Man running in the game.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. And let's talk about He-Man. When I have the power of Grayskull flowing through my body, am I going to have kind of a definitive action experience with him as opposed to somebody like G.I. Joe, for instance?
Right. So they all play totally different. All these guys have the whole army with them. They've got all the characters, a lot of the characters you like and played with as kids probably. You're going to come in the game. You can take control of them.
Okay. And touch on He-Man a little bit. What can we experience with him, for instance?
Yeah, so He-Man, so of course, all the heroes come with these vehicles they can call into battle and just get right into it. And of course with He-Man, he comes in with Battle Cat and you can drop in and jump on top of his back.
Awesome. So excited. One massive Battle Cat fan right here.
Now I want to talk to Josh about this. He-Man and G.I. Joe have a vast universe, right? So what are we going to see and what are some specific units? And is Cobra's army in the game?
So we've got some more stuff coming. We haven't talked about all of it yet. We're just He-Man and G.I. Joe, and Duke is the guy that we showed in the trailer. So we've got more stuff coming from those universes, and we've seen a lot of the fans' requests and wishes, and those are the things that we wanted and we played with as kids too.
Right. All right, let me ask you a question that I've been waiting the majority of my child life and most of my adult life to ask another grown man. How do you balance magic versus bullets?
Yeah, it's impossible.
How does that happen?
Much, right?
Yeah, how does that work?
$1 million
how are you guys
question.
balancing this stuff out?
Yeah, well, it's tough, right? Because they all play completely differently, right? So He-Man, obviously, you've got to be slashing through enemies with the sword, whereas, with G.I. Joe, you're shooting lasers, and we've got, fantasy armies throwing dice in the game instead of, as fireballs, they throw a D8. So there's all kinds of crazy different units and attacks and weapons in the game.
Amazing.
And the team at Signal is pulling it off. They're putting it together, and that's all pretty fun.
Awesome.
Now I want to talk to you about, in addition to some of our childhood heroes, I mean, folks who played Toy Soldiers before, what are some of the improvements you've made to the franchise?
Yeah, so the team did a really good job of adding some progression and customization to the game. So now when you start the game, you've got your base units, your base defenses, and your base weapons. And then as you play through the game, you'll unlock new weapons and upgrades for your turrets. You can customize the loadout, what weapons you equip and take into battle. So everyone's experience is a little bit different. And of course, when you add co-op in there and you can bring it and play with your friends, it sort of adds up into this really unique setup for everyone.
Just a tad bit better than my living room experiences as a child, I have to say. And let's talk about the graphical power of the Xbox One. Obviously, we can see that displayed here. But beyond graphics, what can this new generation of hardware and Xbox Live contribute to the development of this game? How are you able to kind of really leverage the power of those two things?
Yeah, so we've got bigger maps than we had before. We've got more stuff going on. We have split-screen couch co-ops. You can play with your friends. We've done a lot online. We've really sort of took a step back and look at what does a multiplayer action strategy game look like? How does that work? And so we've got some cool stuff that we're not showing today, but we're really working on it. The team's doing a good job with it, and we're really excited to get people playing that.
Can you give us some clues to what some of the armories are also going to be?
They literally told me before I walked up here they will haul me off stage if I say anything about it.
What about some other licensed properties? I mean, we've got some great ones in there already. You guys must be really interested in some cool stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
This is you listen. You have our childhood in your hands.
Right? Yeah.
Don't ruin it.
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, we had a great list. We all sat down like, okay, let's go pie in the sky. What can we put in the game? And at the top of that list is He-Man and G.I. Joe, and we got those. And we've got a long list of stuff that we're looking at and wanted to get in there. And it's been great watching all the fan theories too, right? Everyone's been posting online and commenting on what they want to see in the game and sort of what they think is coming. And there's some guys who have the right idea, and they're on the right track. We're not saying what it is today, but they're some good fans.
So let's remove the company line from the equation. You're not a producer on the game. You are obviously a fan of toys and this genre. What do you hope to see? I'm going to put you on the spot. We're not going to hold you to this if it doesn't happen, but what do you hope to see in this game?
So G.I. Joe is my thing, right? And when I was a kid, right, all the toys, I didn't really know what the universes were, or anything. They were just all together, right? They were all on the same team. He-Man and G.I. Joe ran arm in arm fighting bad guys, right? So that's for me is really getting G.I. Joe in there. Those characters and like what I thought they were as kids and like all those battles that I thought were going on when I was playing with them.
Awesome, man. Well, the dream has been realized for you. Big thanks to Josh Mass, everyone, for being here. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thank you, Josh. But now it's time for the Xbox One owner to vote for the trailer you want to see next. Remember, pick up that controller. With great power comes great responsibility.
That's why I never have great power in my hands, because I'm not responsible. So don't go all crazy, though, and ask to watch the Fallout trailer 5 million times in a row, because that would just be you channeling the things that I want you to do, and I want you to be you.
Yes.
All right, for now, though, let's sing things over to iJustine.
Well, I'm here in the Halo booth where actually earlier today I got a chance to play Halo 5 Warzone and it was really amazing, but that's actually not what we're going to talk about right now. I am going to throw it over to Tiffany to talk about the anticipated return of Lara Croft.
Lara Croft's icy return wowed the crowd yesterday at the Xbox briefing. So we're here to find out even more about Rise of the Tomb Raider. I'm here with Crystal Dynamics' Brian Horton. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It is awesome to be on the stage.
I'm super pumped to talk about this game. So first up, let's just kind of get into it. From the last game in 2013 was really the reboot, and we saw her origin story. Where are we going to find Lara this time?
This is Lara Croft's first great tomb raiding expedition. In the last game, Lara was a survivor, but now she's really seeking out these secrets in the most hostile, remote places on Earth.
And you just mentioned hostile and remote places. Obviously, we saw the avalanche, we saw the ice pick. A lot of this one takes place in Siberia. How is the weather conditions really going to come into play with her tomb raiding?
The weather is extremely important, not only from an atmospheric point of view to really make the player feel immersed in the environment, it actually affects the way the player moves. As you see, when Lara trudges through the deep snow, it slows her down, it makes her, she really feels connected to the environment. So weather plays a huge part in not only the way the player works with the world, but how the enemies do as well.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching the avalanche stuff, I was like, she's gonna die. No, she's gonna fall and die again. She's gonna die again. So speaking of some of the dying, there was some gruesome deaths. Every time she died in the last game, I kind of had a tear in my eye. Are there gonna be some more gruesome ones in this one?
We will not disappoint on that front. Yes. I mean, ultimately what we're trying to do is make Lara feel as connected to the drama of the situation. So you can't have drama without some kind of consequence.
And let's talk too, because this is really the first full-fledged adventure game on a next-gen console for the Xbox One. We had the definitive edition come out, but tell me about creating a game for the Xbox One.
We were able to rewrite our rendering engine from the ground up. Brand new lighting, brand new materials, skin that feels like skin, metals that feel like metal. In addition to that, we have a new performance capture system with 1,000 points of data captured from Camilla Luddington's performance put onto Lara Croft. So we're getting an unprecedented amount of detail. So it really is a brand new feel for the technology.
And you just talk about Camilla Luddington, and I think that having her come back again, obviously, she is Lara Croft to me. What is it like seeing some of those shoots go on where she's doing the voiceover?
She's incredible. She came in, and I can't imagine anyone else as Lara Croft now. She really embodies that role, and now seeing her performance really come through in those micro details, it's bringing Lara to the next level of humanity.
So there was one small complaint about the last game, was that maybe there wasn't quite enough Tomb Raiding. So are we going to get a lot more Tomb Raiding in this game?
If you're a Tomb Raider fan, they're going to be bigger, they're going to be better, and there's going to be more of them. You're going to love playing Rise of the Tomb Raider because it is chock full of tombs.
And I'm like, and that means puzzling as well, right?
Absolutely. To get a little geeked out on this, instead of it being one big puzzle, we're talking about multi-stage puzzles in one tomb. So you're going to see a much more complex, but keeping the pace up so that the fans of the action style puzzle are going to be satisfied. The classic Tomb Raider fans are going to be satisfied as well.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for chatting with me. I cannot wait to play this game. We're going to toss it back to the stage to find out more about what's going on at Xbox.
Thanks, Tiffany. So behind me is the Dark Souls 3 installation here, and I actually tweeted out a video of this, and everyone thought it was gameplay until I pulled back and there was actually people walking around. So it's pretty fantastic. If you're here to E3, check it out. But right now, you guys at home voted on a trailer, and what's it going to be? I don't know. You guys voted for it, so let's check it out.
Dean Hall created the open world survival horror phenomenon. You guys are amazing. Survival horror phenomenon known as DayZ. That basically allowed us to live out our post-apocalyptic fantasies in an MMO, and my personal favorite, rob people with hatchets. But now he's actually here to tell us about his new project, Ion. Dean is on the show, everybody. Oh, thank you for being here, sir.
Thanks, man.
All right, Dean, so you had an amazing presence at the briefing yesterday, but speaking of brief, the actual presence was all to that. So tell us more about Ion. We know it looks beautiful. Obviously, it's ambitious, but tell us more about the story of the game.
Sure. So I guess in some ways it's easier to describe what we weren't doing. We weren't trying to recreate Star Citizen or anything like that.
Right.
We really wanted to explore the simulation side of it, making a space station, living on a space station, growing it, trading with other space stations, and you know, add a bit of fidelity to that and really explore that.
Right. And it's actually being described as an emergent narrative MMO. What does that mean in stupid people words?
Well, that's right. It's kind of those marketing hyperbole, right?
That's fancy.
I guess what we're trying to do is we're really trying to give a platform that people can go out and just explore what they would do. So the whole idea of the game is that you're exploring mankind's first expansion out into space. So do you want to be like a landowner and having a region in space and building your station, or do you want to be going to someone's station and opening up a restaurant? So I guess, yeah, they're fancy ways of just that real true open world sense.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about the development of the game. You know, DayZ, the story behind DayZ, your incredible success there. It really was one man's dream, one man's journey. How big was the development team on Ion, and how was that experience differ from the development of DayZ?
Yeah, so it started out as a very small prototype, and initially it was just me working with a 2D top-down engine to come up with a prototype, like linked with a database.
Yep.
And I ended up working with a company in London called Improbable, doing some amazing technology that basically allows you to scale these massive worlds. And so we've got 25 people in London, amazing people like our concept artist Jamie, who actually directed our teaser trailer.
Yes.
He was the concept artist on the movie Gravity. Rashad, ex-Bethesda, worked on Fallout and Skyrim.
Nice.
So it was just get this awesome team together and work on this crazy esoteric idea.
Right. So a lot of pedigrees there in the professional space, but one thing that DayZ is really known for is allowing the game to grow and develop and breathe within and through the community. I'm imagining that Ion is going to function in much the same way.
Yeah, so I've tried to learn a lot of the lessons. There were a lot of pitfalls we fell into with early access. It's very new, so you don't know how to do that stuff. So the idea is, and that's why working with Microsoft quite early to discuss how the Xbox game preview works and how we can avoid some of the problems that we had.
Right, and Xbox Game Preview is something that people are talking a lot more about today after it was spoken about yesterday at the briefing. Can you tell us a little bit about Ion's involvement in that process and how people could actually get involved in the game?
Sure, so the idea is that we really want to give people that mechanism for us to be able to refine the concept.
Yep.
So we develop the core of the game and make the core of the game really awesome, and then we get the feedback from the community as to how we're going to evolve that. And I guess one of the things we learned with DayZ is that we need to have a very solid foundation for that first core. So, you know, obviously we're working with Microsoft to make sure that that is a really solid core.
Right. And do you think the fans have any idea that they're influencing the work of master artists that you've pulled together to make this game? I mean, these are people that are playing a product that are directly influencing people that have worked on Bethesda games, as you said, and just crazy titles.
Yeah, look, I think all the people we've got are really excited about that, because I think it's you feed off it when you're making a game, when you're getting the feedback. The real challenge is to try and refine out some of the problems with early access, and I think that's what Xbox Game Preview is doing.
Right. Take all that water coming into that big funnel, and then make sure the product's shooting out at the bottom.
Yeah,
is good
exactly.
Stuff.
Yep.
Right on, man. Well, Dean, thank you so much for making the game. Big round of applause for Dean.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations. All right, guys, it's time for you at home to weigh in on today's show by using the Xbox One to vote for the trailer you want to see next. And to quote an old Crusader in an Indiana Jones movie, choose wisely. Are pirates in Indiana Jones? Did I do that right? That was totally off base. I'm so sorry about that. All right. He's my favorite, and he's coming home with me. Doesn't know it yet, but he's never leaving my side. All right, and now, guys, at yesterday's Xbox briefing, we got our first glimpse at the beautiful sand-swept world of ReCore. We actually had the opportunity, the very privileged opportunity, to meet up with the game's creator to walk us through the just unveiled trailer for this unique robot-filled game.
このオープニングで分かる通り、実はかなりこれ未来の話を、やろうということで、やっぱり人類の未来っていうところをどういうふうにこう表現していったらいいかっていうことをこのゲームではすごくそれを元に作り出したものがあります。
So our main character Jewel has a special relationship with Mac, who's the robot character in the video, because actually Mac found Jewel at the beginning of the game, so you have the longest relationship throughout the whole thing, and he's actually part of a faction that's trying to help you bring back humanity to this planet, and there's a whole other faction of robots who don't want that to happen for their own means, which we'll talk about later.
大きな特徴として、砂嵐などの、後ですね、情景が変わってしまって完全にこうマップ自体が変わってしまうようなそういうことができるようなゲームになってます。はい、人類がほとんどいなくなった世界で主人公が一人っきりでロボットが仲間として今いますけども、今後いろんな仲間が増えてくるっていう形でですね、もちろん敵も現れてきて、で彼女自身が どうやって生き残っていくかっていうことがすごくこのゲームの重要な部分になってきます。
The relationship between what you see the friendly robots in the game and the enemy robots in the game, they get more volatile and deadlier as you go underground and find these areas. So that's where all the good stuff is, and that's what you're trying to explore.
ロボットと戦って、マック自身がやられてしまってもコアっていうものが残ります。そのコアが実はマックの意識を持ってて、そのマックの意識自体の宿ってるコアで次のロボットに行くことによってまた違う形のマックが生まれるっていうそういう形のゲームになってます。
So it's really a really interesting facet to the game that where can we take that from there? Where cores are just in robots, but they could be in other things in the world, and you can get robots, you can get cores from other robots by extracting them, and you had that core. What do you do with it? Do you use it to upgrade another core? Do you use it to put in another character? And there, what Mac did was basically he sacrificed himself for the player.
謎に満ちたアドベンチャーで、すごくスケールの大きなものにしてます。で、その中でもやっぱりロボットっていうのがすごく重要な役割を果たすんですけど、実はロボットっていうのはもっともっとたくさんのロボットがいて、たくさんの仲間にすることができて、でたくさんのアドベンチャーがここにあるっていうのがこのゲームの面白さです。
In the video, Jewel is actually has found this place that hasn't been probably looked into for a really long time, and her just opening that door is a really big thing because that door probably hasn't been opened in hundreds and hundreds of years.
このゲームは人類の未来っていうものを想像して作り上げたものです。で、人類はどのような未来に進んでいって、どのように、滅んでいくのかみたいなことをゲームにしたかったっていうのがあります。
All right, listen to me right now. I love you guys, but whatever you're doing, stop, put the dinner fork down, sit down, and get ready, because right now we're going to take a deep dive into Just Cause 3 and Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Yeah! Here we go. Please welcome Roland Lesterlin and JF Dugas. I love that name. They're going to kick it off with Just Cause 3. Rico's back for more, and what kind of updates and additions you guys had for his arsenal of weaponry? I love this game. I want my grappling hook. We talked about it yesterday.
Well, we wanted to completely change the grapple hook in a good way. So we took everything that was great in Just Cause 2, really polished it, got it working, and then we added in the ability for multiple tethers in there now, and we can actually control the tension of every single wire. And the beauty of that is that allows you to create these amazing cascades of destruction.
What does he got? What does he have on his back here? Is that a bazooka?
Oh yeah, that's an RPG right there.
Okay, because that's safe to do that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You can wingsuit with an RPG. I see nothing wrong with that. It's Rico.
Right.
He's just going to dive straight through the world, through the clouds. And that's just showing off a little bit of his new wingsuit as well.
Yep.
We wanted to stabilize the parachute, make that a combat platform.
Oh, wait a minute. We're having a Michael Bay moment here, aren't we? Look at this. Look at this.
Hijacking an aircraft.
Like you do.
Feels like what you're meant to do, right?
Right.
So Di Ravello is our dictator. He is the evildoer of this land, and Rico is back to save the nation from Di Ravello.
Now, it's known for its over-the-top destruction, and you can chain things together in the past. Come on, that's got to be there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean we decided to really push the physics of the world as well, so instead of having a health bar on each chaos object, they are all completely physicalized now. So you can actually tear a fuel tank off of its base, attach it to a helicopter, fly it around, and drop it on something if you want to.
This is like, I mean, we've heard sandbox games before. This is like the ultimate destruction of sandbox destruction, right?
Yeah, this is a sandbox game. I mean, it is about your creativity.
Now, I want to talk to you about, this is the first time the Just Cause franchise is on Xbox One. I played the hell out of 2, and it was, oh God, it was so good. What were you guys able to do with the new power of this next generation console?
I mean, honestly, everything. It's so much more fun to be able to do all the things we've been imagining being able to do in the past, and now we're able to do it. The physics we're able to do, over 4 million physical objects in the world at the same time, a fully physicalized water system, so we can have waves, you can jump them with boats. The grapple hook itself, being able to have multiple tether lines, we never had to be able to do that before. And then, of course, the number of military, the number of vehicles we can spawn in, just the density of the world, and we now are able to even carve into our landscape, so we can do tunnels and caves and huge scave systems, and it's crazy.
Now this takes place in Medici, correct?
Yeah, Medici is the...
Tell us a little bit about that, pardon my English accent.
So it's a Mediterranean-inspired island.
Because Just Cause 2 was more Caribbean.
It was. The island of Panau was the before, and it was all kind of jungle-based, inspired over in kind of Malaysia area.
Yep.
So this time we're going to the Mediterranean, so it has a lot of history, a lot of depth to it.
And great food.
And great food.
All right, I want to talk about, Jane, you brought us some gameplay of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Let's bring that up on the monitor here for the folks at home and kind of walk us through what we're seeing. Here we go.
Well, at this point in the story, Adam Jensen is on an investigation to find some terrorist people, and he goes into a ghetto outside of Prague, which is called the Golem Ghetto, and he needs to find them. But it seems like this footage, like it's the mix of all these things. So it shows Prague. It shows the explosion that happened at the beginning of the game,
right.
And then after that, it shows Golem, the place where you have to go to interrogate the potential terrorists behind those attacks. And the thing is that in Mankind Divided, we're in a period of time where augmented people are segregated, like they're seen as dangerous for society, they're seen as a common threat, and they're put into ghettos. There are laws to make sure that they're staying out of the way, and when Adam Jensen goes there, it's kind of a harsh place, and even him, if he's augmented, is still like he has those shiny augmentations and whatnot, and he doesn't belong there, so he's kind of this stranger in a strange land kind of guy.
Mankind Divided, you play as Adam. Tell us what you've done to upgrade some of his abilities.
Well, what was important for us, for Adam Jensen, it was to bring him back to the next level. We were saying that Adam Jensen is the Man 2.0, but now we try to bring him to Man 3.0. We beefed up the possibility and augmentations with the gun arms, where you can be really reactive on the fly. You shoot, you can use your mechanical arms to disable some of the enemies. We really wanted to up the combat experience to make it on the same level as the stealth experience, making sure that no matter what is your play style, you'll always have plenty of gadgets and augmentations to play with that will help you to stay in the play style.
Yeah, I remember that folks went through like the previous Deus Ex game completely stealth mode.
Yeah.
And I go in loud and proud.
That's it.
Right, so you can really play exactly the way you want it. How do you keep a balance of that in the game to keep the players entertained and engaged in the story?
Well, it's always a question of balancing the challenges to make sure that level design and the enemy design and everything allows you to explore, to make you feel that you have opportunities to go on one side or another. If you want to be combat oriented, you have plenty of augmentations to play with, and you can take advantage of the environment as well. But if you want to be stealthy, we always make sure that we balance or we build the levels in such a way that you can see, oh, there's an opportunity here, I can do this, I can do that. And it's also a lot about balancing the AI to make sure that they can go from combat to they lost you, then they're looking for you, then they forget about you. So it's all these tricks together, making sure that all players find what they're looking for.
I remember playing the previous games. You made some choices at the end, and I'll have no spoilers if no one finished the second one. But it really impacted the story. I assume we're going to have the same type of mechanic again, whether you're going stealth or you're going loud.
Well, we're pushing it further. We're trying to make sure that all the choices you make in this game is going to tell the story in a different way, that each player will have a different story of the same experience.
Right.
And we're making sure that all the choices lead to strong consequences that can lead you left or right. It can give you more opportunities in stealth or in combat, or it can open or close some story doors, etc., etc.
All right, I'm excited for both of these games. I'm a huge fan of both of your games. I finished them both. A lot of people in the industry don't have to play a lot of time to play games, and I am proud of what you guys have done. So thank you guys. Roland, JF, thank you for stopping by. And now, by popular demand, it's your next viewer-voted trailer.
Oh no! Hey guys, so I'm just playing some Forza here, and clearly driving with a microphone, and yeah, this is not working out really well. So I'm gonna toss it over to Golden Boy and Bravo, who's actually shoutcasting tweets. What do you guys got for us over there? Oh my gosh, I'm spinning out of control.
Hey, we're back with another edition of Twitter Shoutcasting.
Now let's go ahead and throw 60 seconds on the clock. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off this time, Bravo. We have at Wolfpack81. Ben had Halo 5 pre-ordered, assuming hashtag Gears of War is announced. That'll be pre-ordered by the end of the month. Hashtag Xbox E3, hashtag E3.
That's right. Ben had. Now, College Scrub says the Pro Controller is going to be perfect for Halo, Gears of War, and Forza. Cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Oh, you and me both, man. Our good friend at Ryan Tawi says the at Xbox Elite controller looks OP. It's about time Microsoft made a controller hardcore and competitive for gamers. Hashtag E3, hashtag Xbox.
That's right, OP indeed. Now, Adam Ferraro says, maybe I missed it last night, but being able to use your phone as your Pip-Boy in-game is pretty darn sweet. Hashtag Fallout 4 is coming.
I couldn't agree more with him. We have Rich at ESA, or Rich Taylor says, the awesome Phil Spencer letting the world know about Xbox One backward compatibility. Hashtag crowd pleaser. Hashtag E3 2015. Hashtag Xbox E3. So many hashtags.
That's right, huge news indeed. Paul Green says, the robot at the end of the Record trailer reminded me of the dog from Half-Life 2. Hashtag E3 2015. Hashtag Half-Life 3 confirmed.
All right, and then we have CFM 22999. I don't even know his name. Now they're allowing mods to be used on Xbox One if you are one of them for the PC. Another nice feature. So far, Microsoft is doing well at E3 2015, and it's over.
And that's it for us. Let's go ahead and send it back to the stage.
Oh my god, you boys have too much energy. I'm going to bottle it and make myself a very rich man. Now this year we saw esports break through into the mainstream, and as competitive gaming continues to grow, the demand for cutting-edge peripherals is growing too. Here's a look at one of the highlights of yesterday, the hardware and the customization of the Xbox Elite controller.
Here at E3, we announced the Xbox Elite wireless controller. What we did was we took the basic controller we have today, added onto it, and improved it. I think the first comment I always get is it's heavier, and it is. Most of the things we've added are steel. When you add these higher quality parts, you're going to add weight.
This controller, you're not breaking. It's built tough, it's built strong, and it's not going to wear.
Going back to when we were working with pros and top-level gamers, people that put in the serious hours, one of the biggest complaints is there's a wear-out issue.
When I was competing, I would go through a controller every 3 months. The wear and tear from the analog sticks would just make your controller really grind around the edges. So your analog stick wouldn't be able to have that smooth transition when you're aiming at someone.
What we did was we actually inserted this low-friction material into the top housing that when mixed with the steel, you get almost no wear. The feel is a buttery smooth feel.
When I first started using the controller, I was a bit skeptical. Once I gave it a shot, I realized how big of an advantage it would give me. You can do so much with it and map so many buttons a different way. There's no controller out there like this.
There will be an Xbox Elite adjustability application that will come with this. It'll be something that works on your console and you can directly communicate with it. That is how you'll remap the controller. You will be able to adjust your ABXYs, your digital inputs, your D-pads, your bumpers, your triggers will all be able to be remapped. We will actually store everything on the controller itself. It's not stored in the console, which means there's no lag. Anything you adjust in the application, you can then save it, name it. Not only can you have the one profile on here, you can actually save two. You can have one called Halo Run and Gun and one called Halo Warthog. You simply move the key the other direction within a single duty cycle, which means instantaneously or faster than you can move the switch, it'll already move over the new key mapping, zero lag. As soon as you're out of the Warthog, pop it back over, you're back to running again. When we started this, we started from day one, going to actual top leaderboard people's houses, did interviews, watched them play, record them, asked them how they would use it. Then we actually went to the pros. We said, what would you do? What would improve your game? What would take it to the next level?
There's a lot of variety. You're not told this is the only way you can do it. Even with the paddles, there's elongated paddles that you can use.
The idea of having paddles is you want to keep your grip where it is, specifically your thumbs. You know, in most games we're playing today, you're using both thumbsticks and you never want to take them off.
Most of us on the pro team will set this top left paddle to the X button. That's the ability for thrust when you're playing on bumper jumper. So we're able to hit the paddle in the back and keep that smooth transition on our opponent.
We really went overboard, we think, on everything to say what would make it fit for you as an individual gamer.
The customization is endless. There's thousands of ways you can set up this controller.
There is 4 paddles. There's 2 that we call the shorters and 2 that we call the longs. That's these ones down here. Hair triggers is a new thing that we added where it's physical travel or 50% travel. Simply put, it's a mechanical stop. What that gives you is not only does it shorten the distance, but there's actually, because there's a hard wall behind it, it gives you a slight rebound. Then it'll come with 2 D-pads, one this multi-facet one, as well as the traditional cross. They are replaceable, they are removable, they're swappable, you can do them however you want.
It's the same with the thumbsticks. You can pop these off and you can place in an elongated thumbstick, and that will actually help you to move less and have that perfect precision aim across the map if you're trying to snipe somebody.
We're going to sell it with different shapes. We're going to work with partners to have different shapes. It does work the same way they always have, which means you still have a digital input, full analog movement. You're letting yourself tweak it just a little bit to give you that edge so you feel better, you play better. If you take a great piece of equipment, you tailor it just slightly for your individual needs versus the mass needs, you can now take your game to your personal next level. Anyone can benefit from that. You don't have to just be a professional gamer. However, there is a growing market for esports. There is a growing market for competitive play. What we built here, we believe can do both. We're really, really excited to launch this. I think from day one, ground up, we designed this with the pros and the aspirational esport enthusiasts in mind. It's not about how Microsoft or Xbox is telling you how to play. It's not how a game title is telling you how to play. It's customizable to the way you want it for the way you play.
The E3 show floor is full of cool areas devoted to games and publishers and developers. And some of them are pretty tricked out. So, use your Xbox One to vote and let us know which part of the Xbox booth you guys want to see more of.
Now, let's send it over to Bravo, who's taking a trip into our virtual future with the Oculus Rift.
Hey guys, Bravo here with Nate Mitchell, VP of Product at Oculus. Nate, it's a pleasure to have you with us here. First off, how's the show going so far?
Show's going really, really well. Saw the Microsoft press conference. Congratulations to you guys on all the announcements.
Oh, thank you.
I'm super excited for Halo 5 myself, so really exciting to see.
Yeah, it was a great show. I kind of got to sit back myself and be a little bit of a fan as well during the briefing for the first time in a while.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a good show, and lots more to come, of course, this week, and a lot, it sounds like, to come from Oculus as well.
Yeah.
Tell us, last week you kind of kicked off the pre-E3 buzz, showing off for the first time the consumer edition of the Rift. So what do you have planned here this week at E3?
So we're going to actually be showing the consumer edition of the Rift here at E3 for attendees to try out, which is pretty awesome. We have all new games that we're going to be showing demos for all these new experiences that are going to be launching on Rift in 2016. Lucky's Tale by Playful, we've got CCP's Eve Valkyrie, Damaged Core by High Voltage, so just this whole suite of made for VR titles that we've been working on, and they're all playable here at the show.
That was my next question.
Oh yeah.
So people are going to be able to get hands-on on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. So people are going to be able to get hands-on with the Consumer Rift. We've actually got one right
Let's
here.
show this thing off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the engineering sample of what will be the consumer edition of the Rift.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is very, very close to what consumers are going to be receiving when they get the Rift in Q1. So we've done a lot of work on the industrial design, obviously, integrated audio, custom display and optics system that really enables sustained presence, that feeling like you've truly been teleported somewhere else.
Right.
It's, in our opinion, best VR system out there. We're really excited to get it in the hands of gamers in Q1.
One of the other big announcements that we heard recently is that Microsoft and Oculus are now partnering.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we've kicked off a partnership with Microsoft where we're really focused on making Windows the absolute best platform possible for Rift. And that's has a couple different aspects to it. The first is that we're really focused on optimizing Windows and Windows 10 for Rift support. We want it to natively work, have it be a great experience right out of the box, and obviously working with the DirectX team to do a lot of optimizations. VR is pretty performance and compute intensive, so working with DirectX to really drive the sort of optimizations that VR and the Rift needs is going to make sure the gamers get the best experience possible on Windows.
Cool. And also the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, so we're going to be bundling an Xbox One controller with the Rift headset, which is super exciting. We've had developers working, basically targeting gamepad for the last 2.5 years, ever since we shipped the first Rift development kit. And so by including what I personally think is the best gamepad in the box, developers know exactly what to target, gamers get something that they can use that they know super well, and it should give a really great experience for some of the titles we just talked about. And then the third element is, we're enabling Xbox One streaming straight to Rift. So that's kind of a new sort of strange strange concept for a lot of folks, but basically, if you have an Xbox and a Rift, anywhere you have a Windows 10 PC, you're going to be able to have the best Xbox gaming room ever, right? So when I was a kid growing up, I was always jealous of my friends that had like projectors in their house, right? They'd play on a big screen. Well, you can stream your Xbox games straight into like a virtual cinema, right? So imagine being in a movie theater and playing your favorite game. Right. That's sort of the experience we're enabling with the Rift and Xbox One streaming. So really excited to bring that to gamers.
Well, we also got to see recently the Oculus Touch, which I think surprised some people. So tell us a little bit about kind of where that idea came from, where that hardware was inspired.
Yeah, in VR, everyone wants to reach out, interact with things in front of them, right? Pick them up. I want to be able to hand you something. I want to be able to pick up like a gun or a lightsaber, whatever it is, and swing it around a room. That's something you really can't do very effectively with a gamepad. And so we set out to really build something that would unlock this next generation of VR experiences. And what we landed on is Oculus Touch, which is a set of track controllers that we're super excited about bringing to market in H1, the first half of next year. We have a few Oculus Touch prototypes here with the Half Moon prototype.
Okay, we're gonna have to go over there.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to come over, see a demo.
I wasn't sure if you had the Oculus Touch here, so
yes, we have it here. It's playable at the show. We've only got a few, so not everyone's gonna be able to try it here, but we're gonna have it at future shows as well. And we've built a new tech demo for Oculus Touch that we call Oculus Toy Box. And you can do all this crazy stuff. You can like dual wield laser blasters. You can like blow up garden gnomes. You can like toss things to each other in VR. And it's a social experience as well, so we can actually play it together. So a lot of cool stuff if you come by the Oculus booth.
I think we're actually going to go right now.
I would love that.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, thanks so much for checking us out here on Xbox Daily. Big thanks to Nate and Oculus for stopping by as well. And we'll see you guys later on. Have a good E3.
Welcome back to the floor. Hey, we got the fans behind us again. I don't know where they came from. They like teleported or something. Now, Lego has built a vast empire of movies, games, and toys out of tiny plastic bricks and all of the money in my wallet. But now that world is expanding with Lego Dimensions, and here to tell us more is the associate producer of TT Games. It's Mark Warburton. First of all, Mark, on behalf of myself and my 5-year-old son Finlay, I wanted to say thank you.
You're more than welcome, sir.
Great. Let's get into the real business here. You've got Lego Dimensions. I am so excited. Tell us what you've announced this week at E3.
So E3 was the absolute perfect time for us to come out and go, we've got Portal.
Right.
You know, Valve and the guys there, they are just the geniuses of story-driven games. So for them to trust us with that brand, to be able to filter it through Lego and add it to our amazing catalogue, perfect.
It's absolutely amazing. So we've got the Portal here, we've got a bunch of minifigs, we've got some mini vehicles as well, all looks absolutely amazing. So it's nice, we've got like DC Universe, we've got Back to the Future, and you can see Shell at the front there. Why was Portal perfect for Lego?
Well, Lego Dimensions has allowed us to just go, what do we want? And the guys sat down and said, you know, we all love Portal, so let's put it in a Lego game. And that's kind of where all these IPs have come from. There's no particular reason for it other than everyone at TT loves these franchises, loves these IPs, and we just want to see them done absolute justice in a Lego game.
It feels like that kind of Portal sense of humor really fits well with Lego as well, right?
Yeah.
Show us how the Portal works and how some of the minifigures work. Talk us through this.
So what we wanted to do with this is absolutely eliminate the barriers between physical and digital play. So rather than just being a spawning device, the toy pad actually becomes a controller. So as you can see here, John is very kindly demonstrating that when you access the toy pad mechanics, it becomes a sort of virtual teleportation device. And as he moves the characters from one color of the toy pad to the other, they teleport through these rifts.
Right.
Cool. Break GLaDOS's rules.
So it's really tactile, right? It's not, you're not just putting the minifigs on there and kind of leaving them.
No.
You're constantly interacting with the Portal with the minifigs in the game.
Yeah, it's bridging that gap between physical and digital.
And these are proper minifigs as well, right?
Absolutely.
I asked you this earlier. Can we actually disassemble these and take them apart?
Yeah. It is 100% Lego toy.
Fantastic. So that means, of course, that you can use them with all the Lego sets that you've got at home.
Exactly, yeah. So, you know, this was the whole point of it. I mean, when you have a Lego set at home, you don't just keep one set on one side, you mash them all together. That was the whole idea of the game. There's not much point in having a Toys to Life game if you don't actually have a toy.
Fantastic. All right, tell us more about the story and you know, walk us through what's happening on screen here as well.
So the overarching story is there's a new villain in town, a nefarious bad guy called Lord Vortek, and he has decided that he wants to reshape the universe in his image. Pretty lofty.
Yeah.
So our heroes, Batman, Gandalf and Wildstyle, they've been tasked with stopping him and jump through the portals to try and stop him any way they can.
Okay.
along the way, they get pulled in with other friends and see what other crazy adventures they can get up to.
But the great thing about Lego, and of course we saw it in the Lego movie, is like a mashup of all these different characters, right? So we're going to see the same in Lego Dimensions.
Oh
right?
yeah,
You've
absolutely.
got the freedom to do that.
Yeah, freedom. Every character can go in every level at every time, every vehicle, gadget, everything. There's no walls, no barriers. You play the game exactly how you want to play it.
Okay, and show me how the vehicles work as well, and how you can upgrade some of this stuff.
So, well, we'll get the DeLorean here. So that is
why
what
not?
you get when you buy it on day one. It is just Lego bricks, tells you how to build it, and then as you progress through the game, you upgrade it, new abilities. But when you upgrade, you rebuild this. You take it apart. Digital build instructions will pop up on the screen. It'll tell you how to do it. You pop it on the toy pad, and your new vehicle will appear in the game.
Fantastic.
So each vehicle is 3 different vehicles.
Okay.
New abilities, new looks.
Lovely. So I'm going to take this one home now. That's great.
Yeah, go for
Thank you very much for that.
Thanks very
but
much.
for everyone else, when do they have to wait till to get their hands on Lego Dimensions?
27th of September this year.
This year.
So make sure it's on the
Fantastic.
Christmas lists.
Mark, thank you very much. John, thank you for driving the demo as well. That is absolutely brilliant. So up next, we've got the folks at Smosh Game. They took a couple of superfans under their wing for E3. I don't know whose idea that was, because they are literally the worst people to take care of anyone. So let's take a look and make sure everyone's okay.
What's the best way to start off E3? With the Smosh Games guys and an Xbox Fan Fest. Fan Fest! So we're here at Fan Fest with one of the fans, and you actually had a chance to go to the presentation.
Yes, I
What's
did.
your mind blow?
The Minecraft, using the Microsoft.
Right?
Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. And then being able to play your old games.
You can
Yep.
teach us
That's
now.
the way to do it.
It's now. Xbox change of the game. Here's the plan. Don't die. No, good job. Only No, I want this in my house. Oh, you drive in real life, right? Put the windows down. Hey, I'm doing. Oh my God! This is the wind of nature. Need the rain, though. Get the rain out of my face. We need a drummer. Yeah. What's your name? Danny. All right, Danny. Destruction on the drums, ladies and gentlemen. Danny, destruction. Yes. Yes. It's Laura Croft. I'm at Laura Croft. Hey. We love your game. Good job surviving. Oh, yeah! Oh, no! I didn't know what that did.
All right, we're here with Ben. Ben just saw the presentation. What got you the most hype? What game are you really looking forward to?
You don't have to ask. Halo 5.
Yeah! Halo 5. That's going to be awesome.
Thank you, Xbox. Thank all of the fans, like the fans coming out and being able to talk to you guys today. You guys were amazing. Just an overall great start. It's gonna be a good year.
It's not even. It's actually just started.
You go, Xbox.
Now give me your swag.
No, it's my swag.
Give it to me.
No, you can't just take.
So much enthusiasm from Smosh, so much enthusiasm from these guys. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to the main stage. Now, right now, we have some incredible stuff right here. A double dose of exclusives for you when we sit down with the developers of Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Sarah Jansen, she's the female, and Justin Weeb, who is the male.
Just in case you
Sarah
didn't know.
and Justin got a little weird for you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll direct my first question to the lady.
Yes, to the lady.
Okay, so let's talk about Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It's been a little while since the first Mirror's Edge game. Yeah, we got some fans back there.
Yeah, I like that.
Tell me, how does this really bring the game forward?
We are expanding on the iconic movement of Mirror's Edge. We are making sure to integrate the combat into the fluidity of the movement. We are allowing you to freely roam and explore the City of Glass, and we are bringing you the origin story of our heroine, Faith.
Okay. So basically, you created an accurate representation of how I move around in real life. It's what it's a Blair Herder
just about
simulator.
right, yeah?
Thank you so much for that.
He looks nothing like that.
Nothing. I stumble across even the smallest of bumps. And tell us a little bit more about Faith and her abilities. Obviously, one of the hallmarks of the original game was just how well she moved and the creative things she could do with her movements. Tell us a little bit more about her abilities in this game.
So in Mirror's Edge Catalyst, Faith is a cat burglar, a parkour and martial artist. and she used her physical prowess to master the cityscape and fight the oppression of the ruling elite.
And you talk about the parkour aspect of it, and it is so awesome. How much more did you guys push that in this game, and how does the environment really come into play?
So one of the really important changes we're doing is that it's now free to roam, and that affects the movement quite a lot, since you can now traverse each area in many different directions. So we're making the movement freer to accommodate that. So you can, for an example of that is, in the first game you could only springboard from certain objects, but in Mirror's Edge Catalyst you can springboard from any object of a certain height.
Again, much like I do in real life, right?
Yeah.
No, still not there.
No.
All right, so Justin, let's talk a little bit about Plants vs. Zombies. The first game, a tremendous success, right? To say the very least.
Yeah.
Again, he's actually playing it on his phone right now, behind you right now. Let's talk a little bit about some of the new features. We saw some in the briefing yesterday, but talk about some of the new features, the things you guys are most excited about in this new game.
Well, yeah, so one of the things we're doing is making sure we're listening to fan feedback. It's very important for us to make sure we're building the game, not just for what we want to play, but what our fans want to play. So what we've been showing at E3 is our Graveyard Ops mode. And what that does is basically a team of up to 4 players can work together to try to take down an army of weeds. And so, and we're also showcasing a whole bunch of new playable character classes as well. So there's 6 new character classes in Garden Warfare 2.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
What were some of the goals that you guys set for yourself? Because obviously people are saying Zomburbia, which I love. But what was the goal for creating this game?
We wanted to change the world. We really wanted to make sure that players are entering this brand new world. And so for us, having the zombies win the battle in Garden Warfare 1 and change the landscape, so now it's Dr. Zomboss's vision of the future. And that's a world where his zombies can live free from persecution. Right. But the plants are on the attack. So for the first time in franchise history, you know, the plants are coming at the zombies now. And that's where all of our new characters and abilities are really coming into play.
Nobody tells the story, the side of the zombies, man. They're just oppressed, you know? They got struggles like everybody else. Well, guys, Sarah, Justin, thank you guys so much for not only the games that you've contributed to in the past, but carrying on these story franchises. Thank you so much for these 2 games. Big round of applause for the both of them.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And right now, you voted on the Xbox One to let us know which part of the Xbox booth you wanted a tour of, and we were helpless to resist you.
We were. They're very, very powerful with their voting.
Right. So here is your viewer-voted look at It's a Surprise.
So we've got 4 different characters here. On the far right, we got Rook. He's this character that's strong and brave and a little bit paranoid because every one of our heroes is unique and special. They have their own different voices, the different ways they play. So he plays at range and wants to keep people away. Here our Evian character, kind of this Lady of the Lake figure, another one of our Windows 10 machines. She runs around with this gigantically oversized sword, just swashing things into pieces and having a blast. She became a hero because she was asked to guard this magical sword until a hero came along and took it from her. Well, she waited for about 5 minutes, no hero came along, and she decided to become a hero herself. Then we've got over here Glory. Glory's a spin on the evil princess motif. She's got these magical apples, this magic mirror that she can walk through and teleport through, and she has all this cool will powers. She's really not in this to be a hero, though. She's in this to gain power and respect, because someone has to lead the little peasants of the world, and she thinks it should be her. Last off over here, one of our classic characters, Inga. She's a brave-hearted character. She's actually probably the only one of these characters that is in this for kind of the good of everyone, right? She doesn't want to see people hurt or anything like that, so she's out there to protect them from the bullies of the world. Now, they're playing through one of our stories, a new quest level we call Chasing Wendelglass that we're just showing off for the first time. This kind of light-hearted wood, scarry, dark and scary fairy tale motif that we've had going on in previous Fables. We want to return to that time of myth and magic and folklore because that's when we can do all the cool magical things and less industry or technology, letting us reset the Fable setting to an earlier time period where we can really show off an age of heroism with all these different characters. Now, of course, these are our 4 heroes playing cooperatively. On the far end down there, that gentleman is playing the villain. And he actually has a top-down view where he controls all of the creatures, traps, and spells that these 4 heroes are fighting against. So you can see his viewpoint. He's looking down on the 4 heroes, and he's planning their demise. He can raise and lower these gates. He uses traps to trick them. And all of these lines you see cursing in, that's him ordering all of the creatures in real time. We have a brand new kind of way of doing this. It's kind of an RTS feel, this kind of evil god from above, but we've made it work really elegantly on a controller. So you can see Basically, he can do everything. These 5 players interacting together really well makes for an incredibly cooperative and a little bit competitive experience here in Fable Legends.
It's been a massive year for augmented reality at E3. Oh, thanks, you guys. And to get a better glimpse at our immersive gaming future, here is I Love You Too. Here is a closer look at HoloLens and Halo 5 Warzone. It's an experience that's happening right here on the show floor.
We'd always wanted a very immersive E3 experience. We partnered with our marketing teams and over the years have tried to figure out how do we get to that ultimate immersion on the E3 floor.
So, I've been working on HoloLens for a long time, and Halo was always one that was like, okay, this is an obvious fit. We'll want to do something at some point with Halo. And so we kind of went back to our offices and brainstormed a little bit, and we thought, man, HoloLens is great at displaying holograms, 3D content, bringing the digital into your physical world. What a great way to explain this new mode in Halo 5 Guardians on the Xbox One called Warzone.
Well, the experience really starts actually in the line. You'll have some UNSC scientists in the line who will be doing some measurements, and really those measurements are to set up the HoloLens experience, but we want to start getting you into that sense that you're in the inside of a UNSC ship. You'll get a moment to look out of a portal, you'll get to see a Pelican hangar, you'll get to see sort of all the things going on within the ship, and you and 5 other people will end up in your briefing room. You'll be red team or blue team. You'll move up to the briefing table, and that's where you're going to get your Warzone briefing.
Welcome aboard the UNSC Infinity. I'm Spartan Commander Sarah Palmer. Warzone is a hard light training simulation that recreates battlegrounds from historical engagements. Today's simulation takes place on the planet before you.
So it shows goals, it shows sort of your objectives, the things you might encounter, the things you need to look out for.
This is an Elder Hunter. He's extremely strong against a frontal assault.
And really get you ready to go into the combat simulator and play Warzone.
All right, Spartans, let's get you into the Warzone so you can try it out for yourselves.
It's been really amazing just bringing people through, having them put the HoloLens on and then just light up. Like, they can't believe that they're on this spaceship, that they're getting this holographic experience.
You definitely see a lot of people with open jaws as they're walking through the experience.
After they have this briefing and they now understand how to play the game, they'll take off the HoloLens and then they'll go and play on the Xbox One and have a great experience.
Hey guys, I gotta tell you something. I had a chance to do that Halo. That's real, that's on the show floor. We're doing that right here. If you come to E3, assuming you can get in, you can actually stand in line for a few hours and experience it. It's amazing. But welcome back. We're here with Halo 5 Guardians Masterminds, Josh Holmes, William Archibald, and Wade Mulhern. Thank you, gentlemen. We're gonna take your Twitter questions and talk about Halo 5 Guardians Warzone. Now listen, before we get started, I saw some chatter on my Twitter feed about rec packs. Now, Josh, why don't you explain what rec packs are and how they fit in the game?
Sure. So the requisition system is a brand new reward system in Halo 5 Guardians. And basically the way that it works is as you play games within our multiplayer experience, you're constantly earning requisition points, which you can then redeem for rec packs. Rec packs contain a variety of different items. There are cosmetic items that carry across the entirety of our multiplayer experience. So those are things like helmets and armor suits and visors and assassination animations and weapon skins. And then there are gameplay impacting items that are exclusively useful within the Warzone experience that we just announced here at E3. So those are things like power weapons and vehicles and such. And so in addition to requisition points, every time a player ranks up their Spartan rank and every time they complete a commendation in the game, we're also rewarding them with requisition packs.
Great.
So just a constant steady stream of different items to keep the gameplay experience fresh.
That sounds great. Now listen, before we get to your Twitter questions, we did a poll earlier asking, what did you want to hear about first? AI, rec system, map design, or loadouts? You voted and 32% of you chose AI. There you go. So, all right, we're going to go right to your So let's talk about AI.
Okay.
What's different? What are you guys kind of doing in the game? Pull back the curtains and show us the AI.
There's all kinds of AI in Warzone, which is the really amazing part. There are the Marines that will back you up in your base, so you'll capture those bases, the armories, the garage. You'll see those Marines come in and help you. And this is the AI you can go up against too, which are such as hunters, the elites, the things that you're used to seeing in campaign that we're now bringing into multiplayer.
Yeah. Because I mean, the AI in Halo has always been fascinating. So I want to see what you guys are going to do to bring it into the multiplayer experience. Because that's got to be exciting because now you have a different sandbox to work with.
Yeah, it's a very different sandbox. It's something that we don't often see, especially with multiple teams going off the same AI at the same time. You've got that red team, that blue team, and the AI in there at the same time. The engagements play out very, very differently. It's pretty exciting.
All right, I have some Twitter questions right here. Right here, I've got them on this little card. Berg_the_genius on Twitter wants to know, what do you think spawned this idea of Halo matches beginning with these animations, the breakout jump, and in the Warzone airlift? Who wants to take that one?
So that's something that, from a creative standpoint, I know the whole team was excited about. But Will should talk about that because Will actually implemented the Pelican sequence that starts off every Warzone.
They are a really good way for us to get a cinematic experience immediately as soon as you get into the game. You jump out of the back of that Pelican, you have crawlers, you have Marines fighting them right up in front of you in your face. It lets us bring that intro into that first-person, really live experience.
Yeah. All right, next question from Twitter. @Duncan23 wants to know, so excited to see more about this! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Please tell me you can forge Warzone or at least forge on those huge maps. For those of you that don't know, Forge is the Halo engine that allows you to, it's kind of your sandbox. You can do whatever you want with it. So we're going to be able to do that in Warzone?
So Warzone, because it's such a massive scale mode, and it's really like bringing together all of these different elements of Halo and beyond any scale of experience that we've delivered in multiplayer before, it's not a mode that supports Forge. Forge is supported throughout our arena experience, but for Warzone, because there's so much going on in that mode, it's a mode that's a really, really crafted experience.
All right, @Mouseline on Twitter, @Mouseline0887 wants to know, are Pelicans, broadswords, and Hornets available to pilots in Warzone? I need to know this. I'm a pilot.
So there's a huge number of vehicles and weapons available in Warzone through the requisition system. And one of the new vehicles that we actually showed here at E3 for the first time in both the campaign experience that we demoed at the briefing, and then also in the Warzone experience that's playable here at E3, is the new Forerunner Phaeton. And that's a pretty cool vehicle. It kind of wrecks house when you're in Warzone if you can get it out. It's really high level, so you got to level up your rec level to be able to bring it out.
What kind of vehicle is this?
It's a really great vertical takeoff. It's our VTOL.
Okay.
It has awesome kind of machine gun regular fire, and it has a secondary fire.
So is it kind of like the Forerunner out now gets to the to the Hornet?
It's a little bit. It's got some of that. Yeah. It's got some of that flavor to it for sure. But it's got a really cool, unique ability where it can kind of do these really short bursts of teleportation. Where instead of like using the same control as the Banshee boost, but you're able to then kind of juke in different directions laterally, which can be really powerful once you learn how to use it.
All right, I need to hear more about that. I'm going to come down and play this. All right, @Smiles M Smith wants to know, so this means player versus aliens?
That's right. Yeah, you go out. It's a good mix. You can kind of choose for players who aren't really awesome like me. I can go fight AI so that I don't have to get owned by the really super strong players. But it really gives you a lot of different choices. And then once you get better, once you get more powerful, then you can go and deal with more players.
All right, @Video Chameleon wants to know, is Warzone a one life game mode? Pretty simple question.
No, it's definitely not.
Many lives.
Yeah, we do have a one life game mode in Breakout, which we showed in the arena beta earlier this year, though.
All right, last question we have here is from Frank the Show on Twitter. He wants to know, did Halo's Warzone really named one of the bosses Baron? Really?
Yes, we did. Yeah, Baron Sharom. You guys want to talk about?
Yeah, what's the story back? What's the story there?
There's a little bit of backstory to that. It's actually named after a guy inside of our studio who didn't realize that until we pointed that out to him. And
you have a Baron working for you at 343 Industries?
Sean Barron actually runs the Halo Community Feedback Program. And
Right.
he's a really important part of our team. And so, but you know, the cool thing with the bosses is we're trying to bring that personality and kind of unique individual personality and sort of sense of each boss, so that when they come out onto the battlefield, like they have just, it creates kind of a moment and a spectacle, and they're kind of more memorable, so when you're taking them out, it feels more rewarding.
And when does the game come out?
Game comes out October 27th.
All right, and here's an exclusive for you right now. There is not a Major Nelson boss in the game, so maybe next time. All right, thank you so much for watching today's show, and be sure to join us tomorrow when we have more Gears, more Halo, and of course, more surprises. Plus, later tonight, Phil Spencer and a few special guests will bring gigantic Fable Legends, and more to the PC gaming show. Fans can watch it live at 6 p.m. on Twitch. Now, before we go, let's send it to the hosts on the floor. Oh, hosts.
Oh, thank you, Larry. Thank you. So all the non-Larry hosts got together and said, you know what? There's a lot of great fans here today, but there is one gentleman in particular that brought his A, B, C, D, E, and F game, and it is this guy right here. Graham, unfortunately, you're an employee. You are not eligible for this. And we actually have an amazing prize for you for participating. So
Take you home?
You do not get to take me home, but Justine?
Yeah, we wanted to give you this pin.
What up?
So enthusiastic.
This is why Microsoft wins. Right here.
But let's be honest, that's an awful prize, and we have something way better for you. Let's fly in the good stuff for this gentleman right here. Oh, how about an Xbox One autographed by the entire Microsoft team? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank my fans. I want to thank my mom.
Xbox One, now $349.
John, you can do this. You just go and you don't look back.
My whole life I prepared my son to lead humanity in the fight against the machines.
On this night, we take back our world!
But there was one thing I could never prepare him for.
The machines tried to rig the game. Send a Terminator back to the time before the war to kill my mother.
I'll go back. Let me save her.
Come with me if you want to live. Kyle Reese.
You know who I am?
We've been prepping for you to arrive for over a decade.
We. The Terminator.
It is nice to meet you.
I've been trying to teach him to blend in. I know it needs work. John,
Hi, Mom.
how can you be here?
What are you doing?
John!
What have they done to my son?
Survive was what you taught me.
Where is he?
Get out. I'm not machine. Not man. I'm more.
I can't leave him.
Whatever they did to John, we need a reversal.
Everything's changed. We are humanity's last hope. Load up.
I've been waiting for you.
You gotta get him off me!
I'll be back.
What?